Episode 19 of the Under Seasoned podcast.
Episode 19, there's no stopping us, mate. We've got a good bit of momentum rolling out of the meat stocks and into the next ones. And, cook them with gas or with lump charcoal, as we like to do.
Well, on that, tell us what's in this episode.
Right, I've been waiting to do this for a while. We've got our feature artist this week is one of the guys that I really look up to. Well, more on him later. We've got an awesome butcher's tattoo. Failed or Nailed is back. I say it's back, but it hasn't really left yet because we fucking love that segment. When dry aging goes too far, we're going to cover that. So let's hook in.
Rightio, let's get into it. This is the fuck up of the week. This is where we get started. Now, I've seen this before and I have a feeling I'm going to dry reach. So I'm going to let you watch it and then you can tell me what you think. You ready?
Let's go. Oh, what the fuck?
Bloody stocks, is that? Really nice.
What the fuck?
Bloody stocks, is that?
Tell me what's happening here.
I reckon this guy's warming up to go to that fucking
Really
beef
nice.
restaurant that was in last week's episode. He's obviously a connoisseur of a good bit of bangers and mash, but no one wants to see that, buddy. Although I'm probably wrong. He's probably got millions of views and millions of followers, so I haven't cracked it.
I don't know who he is or where this video came from, but it ended up in my DMs. Matagram in the comments says, "It appears I've reached the end of the internet."
I can agree with that.
Tyson says, "This guy made me go to the gym at midnight." And Lumberry says, "Oh, Jesus, I need a reset for this algorithm."
Oh, I'm in agreement, mate. I'm glad it got sent to your DMs and didn't just pop up in your feed. Yeah.
All right, moving on. You sent me this one, so you know what's coming up here. Let me turn the sound up. Now, this happens really quickly. There's so much going on here. Talk us through it, but let's watch it.
Well, basically, these guys have created their own carnival ride. And, as you said, things escalate pretty quickly. Look at that thing. It's hooked straight up to the diff. And old mate gets well and truly yeeted. Blink and you... Bang. Blink and you'll miss it, though.
How this guy was driving that truck and in the revision mirror, he didn't notice how fast this thing was going.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's part of the appeal, but he's gonna have to rebuff out that side panel there. It's like when you're towing a biscuit, mate. Like you're sitting there and you really want whoever's in the back, if you're the driver, to really get punished. Yeah,
This is on a ski boat you're referring to.
Yeah, like one of those inflatable tubes. But yeah, the guy's tried to stitch up his mate, and it's going to cost him in the end.
Yeah, he's going to need a new panel on that ute. Now, I've slowed it down so we can actually have a look what happens here. It's not the greatest quality video in the world, but the big fella, he puts quite the dent in the side of this truck. He's launched out of this thing.
He wouldn't have known what's going on either till he was on the ground looking up, I reckon. And he's probably lucky he didn't get run over.
Yes, well, apparently this happened in Mexico. So there you go.
Standard.
Rightio. Dishes of the week. This is where we get to eat vicariously through the screen. And I found some bangers this week.
Bring it on.
Okay. This one was posted online by Joshua Monteru. I think that's how you pronounce his name. And it had no context when he posted the photo. So I asked Josh in the DMs, and he goes, "This is one of my get lean or die trying dishes. It's grilled lamb backstrap." I didn't pick it was lamb, but it is. And prawns. It's a bulk protein, low calorie dish.
Yeah, Josh, he's really starting to follow the food is fuel philosophy these days and getting some good training in. This guy's always been an amazing cook and a great photographer too. Like, there's a difference between cooking good and being able to capture it in a good photo. There's guys out there that do it really well. He's a food industry staple and he's killing it, bro. But normally it's just fat boy feeds, but now he's decided to go down the lean and bulking side of things, and I'm here for it.
Well, he mustn't have been too impressed with this shot because he sent me another one and he said, "This one's probably better. It's beef eye fillet and prawns."
Yeah, he's just flexing on you now, mate.
You sure it is, right?
I would too, though. Look at that spread.
I know, it's banging. And you know what happened? After he sent me this, I went creeping. Like, they're two pretty good shots of food, right? So I went creeping on his Facebook profile, and Denmar, who's our editor, I want you to cue up a little bit of romantic music here for me and Sigh. So if you can put that in the edit as well. And I'm going to just slowly scroll through some of the dishes that this guy has done.
Yeah, it's not a once-off.
He can cook a steak.
Steak and eggs, bro. What more do you need? Maybe prawns.
Look at this one.
Yep.
All right. I'm starting to feel vulnerable. That's enough. That's enough of this food porn for now.
Especially with that beautiful music, man. Woo.
Okay. All right. I've got to turn the sound up for this one. This one was posted by AJ Eatwood. Let's watch it.
Yes. That's your idea of heaven right there, right?
It even had some romantic music in it as well. He said he baked this in his apartment with the oven at 550F on a baking steel for roughly 8 minutes. He cooked this at home in his oven.
Yeah, sick. Some of those old ovens, though, like the ones that weren't fan-forced, you can get them super hot. Like, the temperature remains really consistent in it. So that's probably what he's done there. But, yeah, that's hot.
He said it was 72-hour cold fermented dough with a tomato base and a blend of whole milk and part skim mozzarella.
I can't see much of the base. There's heaps of cheese going on there, so it's a good time.
No flop on that pizza.
No. Well done, buddy.
Yes, he's nailed it. All right, this next one, we got tagged. They tagged us in this video.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah.
We got fans.
Slow burn barbecue. So let's watch. What do we got there?
That looks like a bit of brisket ramen to me, mate.
That looks sensational. So Slow Burn Barbecue said it was a rich umami bomb broth made from scratch, accompanied with leftover Wagyu brisket, and it's a match made in heaven.
Amazing.
So this is a photo. Sensational.
Nom, nom, nom.
I did not know what good ramen is until I went to Japan. I had no idea. What I'd had in Australia wasn't very good. And I can't remember where we went, but the place had a 1 hour lineup to get in. And once I tried some proper ramen, I was like, okay, I get it now.
Obviously only ever had ramen here in Australia, and it's been delicious. So if it's better in Japan, sign me up.
I'm going to say it was better in Japan. I haven't had anything close to it, and I've had quite a few here in Australia, but I haven't had anything close to what we had in Japan.
Epic.
Okay, moving on. Failed or nailed?
Here we go.
I love this segment. This is where I get to throw you under the bus, and you've got to quickly answer whether they failed or nailed it.
Well, my philosophy is pizza's always a nailed. We're looking at, in some people's opinion, too much pepperoni, but I reckon once you account for when that cooks down and reduces a bit, I reckon it's a pretty good ratio. My main concern is that pre-made base.
Yeah, so this was posted on Reddit by Crackhead Ass Bitch. That's her name. I debated whether I would say that or not, but I did. She says, my boyfriend scared me with the amount of pepperoni he put on, and it is an obscene amount of pepperoni that he's put on what looks to be a frozen pizza.
Have we got a cooked shot?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, absolutely nailed.
You could see what was going to happen.
I've got a bit of pepperoni experience, mate. Yeah, and I could see it, but yeah, it's still the crust that's sort of ruining it for me. It looks like it's been pre-sliced, like it's pre-sectioned.
Yeah, the crust looks absolutely horrible, but the topping looks quite good. And you saw the potential from the get-go.
I did, mate. I did.
Okay, on to the next one.
This is a fail and it's a stitch up because I sent you this. I want someone to try this and give it to their better half and see the reaction.
So this was posted by Junk Food Genius on Facebook, and it says, give your Rice Krispie treats a kick, use flaming hot Cheetos instead.
Well, it could fall on either side of the fence. Like, it's a fail if you were trying to get something that tastes good, but you've nailed it if you're doing it. Say you might share an office fridge and you got someone that's always stealing your snacks. You put one of these bad boys in there, I don't reckon it's going to keep happening, eh? And in that case, it's a nailed.
Yeah. Well, this is the sort of thing that goes in solid but doesn't come out solid.
No. It would be rude too if you're expecting some nice, sweet raspberry chocolate sensation, but then bang, you get that nasty MSG hit of Cheetos.
Okay, you got to guess this one. So, this is an eating challenge from the Gregory Hotel, and we've featured this hotel quite a few times. It's the gift that keeps on giving. He looks confident.
He does. I think this is their new challenge, the Bogan Buster or something like that, and even reading the menu gave me heart palpitations.
So it's called Muzz the Bogan Burger, and you need to finish it in 60 minutes or less, and it's free. Now, I've zoomed in a bit here. I'm trying to guess what the ingredients are on this burger, but I'm going to guess onion rings, Chico roll.
There's an egg in there too, between the rings and the Chico.
There is. A Chico roll is like a big spring roll in Australia. I think it's a battered fish stick. There's potato scallop, a meat pie, looks like pastrami. There's other stuff in there as well. There's meat patties. It even has beetroot.
Righto, mate. You're starting to show things here. That's obviously a chicken schnitty. And that's a potato cake. And a Chico roll is nothing like a spring roll. You are going to offend some purists with that. A Chico roll is in its own boat.
Look, it makes sense in my head. Okay.
Either way, I'm not going near it. How good's the dimmy, though? You got the dimmies around the bottom, skewered through the sides.
Those chips look not cooked, though.
Yeah, they've been bleached.
Okay. Did he fail it or nail it?
I don't know. You reckon he looked confident. I don't think he looked confident at all.
He's a big fella.
He is, but that doesn't mean anything.
Oh, those chips look terrible, don't they?
You're eating them last.
What is it? What's the answer?
He's not even halfway, I don't reckon. Oh, he did all right.
Oh, but he did fail.
Yeah, failed miserably, actually. And you're not going to take that home and reheat it, are you?
No, he has failed. And look, I thought they were like fish sticks, but they're not. I think they're battered salves.
Couple of Dagwood dogs there, mate.
For those playing at home in America, what is a battered salve?
It's basically our version of a corn dog, but we use more of a flour batter and not a corn batter.
Correct, right?
Well, I think the worst part here is he's filled up on chips and he's left the goodness there behind. He hasn't even got to the meat patties yet.
Yeah, I feel like he only got 50% of the way through this. But that battered salve reminds me of a story that I heard, and I can't remember where I heard it. I remember I was at a conference at some point, and the guest speaker for the conference was telling a bit of a story about their life. And apparently when they were young, they ran away to the circus. And their first job was to remove the mould from the hot dogs before they battered them and then cooked them for the punters. That was their first job. So
wow.
you must really hate your parents if you want to spend your time jerking off hot dogs instead of going home.
Good times, battered salves. Funny story, a battered salve nearly killed my baby brother once.
You need to tell me the story.
Well, every Wednesday, way back in the day, every Wednesday when we used to go to playgroup, it was Fish and Chip Wednesday. And my mum used to bring home the cold fish and chips, and my brothers and myself would eat them that afternoon. Anyway, my middle brother Marcus came out from the lounge room, and he was always a very chill guy. And Mum was on the phone, and Marcus just said, Carl's blue. And Mum said, what? She said, Carl's turned blue. Walked into the lounge room. There's my little brother Carl. He's about 4 and he's fully blue. He's got a Dagwood dog stuck in his neck. And Marcus, instead of trying to help him, has just gone and told Mum, oh, by the way, Carl's gone blue. Mum comes in, does the Heimlich, battered salve flies out, everything's all good. But yeah, you wouldn't want that to be the way you go out.
Jesus, that's a hectic story.
It is. And my middle brother Marcus was still to this day unfazed by the whole situation.
All right. Well, on that note, we're going to move on.
We could have AI'd that.
We could have. Next time we tell stories, we need to AI them, I feel.
That's it.
All right. Let's move on to talking points. These are some things that have popped up in our feed and got us chatting in the DMs. What's this one?
This looks like a deal that's too good to be true.
This is a big truck that says 20 ribeyes for $35 on the side. Massive. Big truck, big sign. I feel like this is like the adult version of a van that says free candy.
It definitely is the adult carnivore version. But also, too, there's a lot of room to play with that there. Like, is it how thick are the ribeyes, you know? Like, $35 is probably... You can get scotches over here for $35 a kilo, and that's maybe about that big. If you cut them thin, you could get 20 ribeyes out of it.
Yeah, so that's the secret. This was posted online by Wichita, by EB, that's his name, and he says, has anybody tried this, and do you have to tip on top of the $35 amount? On that, tipping's out of control in America right now. They want you to tip for everything. Coffee, you get a bar, they want you to tip just for ordering something over the counter at a football game or something like that. More about that another day. But he adds, what do I do with the other 19 ribeyes if I don't like the first one?
That's a fair call.
So he got a lot of comments, 400 comments to this, and pretty much everyone universally canned it. They said that they'd been there, they tried it. Cale Hughes says the steaks are as thin as a sheet of paper.
But also, too, it's misleading advertising. Those 3 cuts of steak on the billboard there, you've got your sirloin, your T-bone, and then a bone-in ribeye. So I doubt you're getting the bone with it.
Yeah. Thomas Barnes said the steaks in question are grey, thin breakfast steaks, but they talk you into a lot more, apparently. So what happens is a salesman comes and he acts all kind of puzzled, and then he yells to another guy at the back, which is apparently his boss, and he goes, hey, can we give this guy the deal too? Is apparently what they do. And the boss is like, oh, man, look, but this is the last one you're allowed to do that for. So they play a bit of a game. But yeah, if you see one of these trucks on the side of the road, just note that the steaks are probably going to be thin.
Yeah. You get what you get, and you don't get upset.
Okay, I'm going to play you a video here from Guga Foods. Now, if you don't know who he is, you've probably been living under a rock. He's got millions and millions of followers, but I'm beginning to think he's running out of ideas. So let's watch the video here, and I'm going to talk you through what happens. He ages a steak inside a potato. That's the basic premise of it. He cuts open the
Fucking
potato.
big potato too, man.
I'm going to say it's a yam or a cassava or something like that. But he cuts open the potato, scoops it out, creates a cave for the steak. He puts the steak in the potato, ties it up with twine. He then buries it under dirt and leaves it for quite some time. Then he takes it out, puts it in the fridge for a month, and then they get to eat it. So that's the basic premise of the entire video.
He nails the cook though, like he does it well, but he's also very good at not disclosing details. So quite some time where he put the potato underground could have been half an hour. Then it looks like the fridge he's putting it in is potentially a stabilised dry aging environment, so it's not going to matter what goes in there, it's going to preserve it. He's kept himself safe by not releasing the actual details. And if it's a month in that fridge, if it's a proper dry age setup, it's going to be banging.
Yeah. Look, a few eagle eyes in the comments said they weren't convinced that he left it underground for long at all. They said that if he did, the potato would have sprouted and the twine actually looks good as new. It doesn't look like it's aged underground at all. Now, call me ignorant because I haven't watched Guga for a while, but is this what you need to do for views these days? Is this what all the cool kids are doing?
I don't know, man. I'm not cool enough. It's definitely not on my algorithm.
I'll say this, though. Anyone that's been doing videos for a long time, and Guga would probably be doing it for longer than anybody, you start to run out of ideas.
You do. And his stuff's really good too. It's really well filmed. He knows his stuff. I think he's trying to find some far-fetched ideas to keep himself above the pack.
Yeah. Well, no hate, because I really do like his content, but I've got an idea for him.
Yeah. Send it to me, mate. What is it? What are we doing?
Okay, hear me out here. This one gets a bit complicated, right? So we get a soccer ball. We're going to cut open the soccer ball. A steak goes inside. We
Is
stitch
this
it.
soccer ball made of meat?
It looks like in the picture. Okay, we're going to stitch it back up. The kids are going to play soccer for 3 weeks, right? We're then going to put it in the shower. We're going to wash it off. We're then going to put it in the fridge for a week, at least a week. And then we're going to cut the soccer ball back open, right? We're going to wash the steak off. And then we're going to reverse sear it, like a good quality reverse sear, like Guga did. And then we're going to see what it tastes like.
It's going to be tender too.
I
With
reckon.
the kids kicking the ball around for 3 weeks, mate.
Right, now, Guga, we are counting on you to give this a crack.
That's it.
Look how happy this guy looks.
He looks so happy. He's even got the right amount of fingers, so that's not AI.
All right, next one.
This is Jay's attempt at dividing the internet.
Yes, I'm gonna. So this is what I title barbecue styles. And so the reason why I come up with it is because on my last trip to America, I got to try a lot more barbecue styles than what I had to before. And the difference between styles of barbecue in America now feels to me like night and day. And it's got nothing to do with quality. It's got to do with the style of barbecue that they're cooking, which they're well known for. And so in order to categorize the styles of barbecue, I personally come up with 3 different styles which I think are relevant to barbecue today in America and pretty much anywhere in the world. So I'm going to start with old school barbecue. So old school barbecue, traditional low and slow methods, family recipes, methods don't change, simple ingredients, simple seasonings. So if you go into an old school barbecue place, the roof's black, everything's stained in smoke. They use brick pits, or like old big steel pits. They usually use charcoal underneath the barbecue, so they've got a bed of charcoal underneath. They use old recipes, not much has changed. A lot of the pitmasters that I met have been working there for 20, 30, 40 years and they haven't changed anything. So that to me is old school barbecue. And I think Lexington Barbecue in Carolina, Kreitz in Texas, I think they're perfect examples of what I consider to be old school barbecue. So then there's new school barbecue. And new school is kind of like a bit of a nod to old school, a willingness to innovate, modern techniques, methods and seasonings, quality ingredients, and a real obsession to detail. I feel like new school barbecue is old school but evolved, if that makes sense. They use offset smokers, they wrap, they boat, they trim their briskets in much more sort of modern techniques. They use holding ovens, they've elevated their sides, they use different or more creative seasonings a lot of the time, and they've just perfected that old school method. And I think Franklin Barbecue, Terry Black's, they're perfect examples of what I would consider to be new school barbecue. So then there's future school. And this one's a little bit different because I feel like it's new and emerging. And this is like a nod to old school. These people have perfected the new school style, but the menu's not restricted by borders anymore. It's got international influences and they're really exploring culinary exploration within barbecue. And so some examples of that would be Burnt Bean Co. with Mexican influences, Koi Barbecue, Vietnamese influences, and KG Barbecue has a lot of Egyptian influences. So expect the barbecue to be heavily influenced by new school and old school barbecue, but they're putting their spin on it. They're putting different flavours on it. So I really feel like now in America, you could separate the barbecue out between old, new and future.
Sounds bloody good.
So that was a big mouthful to get all that out. And I've done up a little bit of a chart here of where I feel certain barbecue places would sit on a graph. Now, I've copped a bit of shit because apparently I've left places out. This is not an exhaustive list of all the barbecue places in the world. This is just to illustrate my point, basically. So if you're not on there, sorry, there's a lot of places missing, and I know there's a lot of places missing, but it's just to highlight basically my general concept around old school, new school, future school.
That's it. And if you want to make this list, throw your hat in the ring and send us what you got.
Anyway, that's my idea. Critique away. Give me your 2 cents. You can pause this thing and see where I've put people. You can sort of also question why I've put people in certain places, but that's my take on the current styles or the current state of play of barbecue around the world.
Sounds good, mate. I'm glad you're putting your name to it because I would not want to be putting out spot fires on some of these arguments that are about to happen.
Okay. All right, let's move on to something much more interesting. Videos of the week.
Let's go.
Okay, I'm going to turn this one up because I think I can. Kenneth Cunningham posted this video and he said, I was invited to the VIP soft opening of Vaqueros Texas Barbecue in Allen, Texas. But why I'm going to post this video is the kitchen. Wait till you see it.
How's it going? Shout out to my boy Robbie Galvin, or we'll refer to him as quality control at Vaqueros, for giving me the tour of the pit room. Look at these bad boys, man. I thought I was on an episode of Pimp My Ride. That is a legit paint job on some huge smokers. Look at that display window for everybody.
That's amazing, hey?
It is, but I would not want to be part of the cleaning crew, that's for sure, because this is in a brand new restaurant. Those things are going to get filthy nice and quick. But how good is the Aztec style airbrushing on it? And just, it's sick. So nice, new and shiny, big exhaust fans and that. And yeah, happy days.
Yeah, well, like Kenneth said, it looks like they're on an episode of like the barbecue version of Pimp My Ride. These smokers are not only beautiful smokers, but they've done that Aztec graffiti on them and they look awesome.
Looks so good.
What a kitchen. I mean, you know when you step into a kitchen like that, the barbecue's going to be banging.
Yeah, you'd hope so. Now, where does that fall in your category?
It depends on the sort of style of barbecue that they're going to put out in a plate. If I could see a plate of their barbecue, because this place hasn't opened by the time we're doing the podcast, but I'll have to wait to see their barbecue. But I'm going to guess, knowing the name of the restaurant, that they're going to have very heavily Mexican influenced, and I would say it'd be future school.
Yeah, it looks future school to me.
Okay. Mailbox.
More mail.
I love mail.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember this one?
I do, mate. I actually do. I also remember my passing comment was mow your lawns, mate.
So a few episodes back, Chris Cray sent us a photo of his backyard and he's got a ton of Webbers and they're all set up differently. He's got tons of different colours. He's also got a few Traeger pellet grills, and all in all, it was a pretty professional setup, but you picked on his lawn.
I didn't pick on it. I just said mow your lawn, mate.
You know what he's done, though? He sent us a DM, no comment, just a photo.
Good boy. But how satisfied would he feel after that? There's very few feelings of content and achievement that you achieve that you get from after you've mowed your lawn. Like if I won the lottery, I'd still mow my own fucking lawn.
I wouldn't.
I just
I don't mow my lawn now and I haven't won the lottery.
Satisfaction out of mowing the lawn, mate, because when we first moved into our place, it was just a sand pit, and I've just over the years just cultivated it up. I mean, I'm not one of these hectic lawn porn guys like, you know, Tyson or Sam Ellis or them guys, but I do appreciate a nice soft lawn for the kids to roll around and play in, and no bindies and that sort of thing, and I just get satisfaction and a bit of achievement after I've mowed my lawn.
Well, that grass looks a little bit less patchy than the previous video, so I'm going to guess, since you made this comment, he's been out there feeding that lawn, watering it, he's mowed it, and he wants to prove a point.
Well, it is growing season too, though, you know. Lots of
Give
good
him
sunshine.
some good feedback.
I am, mate. It's nice and lush. But also, too, if you want your lawn to thicken up, you got to let it grow long. So
maybe that's what he was doing in the first place.
No, good times, mate.
All right, next one. This was in the DMs. Hey, guys, we're about to launch a Butcher Lawsy branded rub. Now, Butcher Lawsy, you've got a car freshener.
Butcher Lawsy keeps me smelling fresh in the studio, mate.
Okay, so Butcher Lawsy is the World Butcher Wars champion, and he's won a lot of Butcher Wars competitions in Australia. And he has partnered with Taste Merchants, who are going to launch a rub. Now it's a roast rub, and $5 from every purchase at Meatstock goes towards helping get the Australian butchery team to Paris for the World Championships.
Awesome. That must be coming up soon, right?
Yeah, so Brad said, can you please give it a shout out on the podcast? And here's what it looks like. So there's your shout out, Brad.
Some good looking artwork on there, mate.
Yeah, it is. It's exactly the same as your air freshener. So if you see one of these rubs at a meat stock, grab one because $5 goes towards a good cause.
Yeah, that's it. And I'm sure the butcher guys will be set up there with their little donation bucket too if you want to donate directly or even just come and check them out and wish them luck. And it's going to be a good time.
Okay, Art by Sigh. Now, we haven't missed an episode yet where we haven't featured one of your artworks. Every single week I go, this one's a cracker. Oh, this is amazing, right? But look at it. Jesus.
Oh, yes. This one's actually got a bit of a story behind it, this one's. Team Barbecue War. He's been in the news a bit lately. This is Wayne up the front there holding the ultimate tinfoil. He's our guy that's building the helicopter smoker. Now, last year, he and his team got the opportunity to go and participate in the Memphis in May World Championships, and they were very excited. Wayne hit me up to do this. I didn't really have the time to do it, but the thing that sweetened the deal was there's actually a T-shirt category at Memphis in May, and I reckon you could win it. So we worked pretty hard. I personally worked pretty hard on this one to get it all sort of looking really sharp. So we've depicted the team here flying over to Memphis in May. We had to have some French influence there because after Memphis in May, they were all attending the World Food Championships in Paris, I think. So it had to have, that was part of the design category. Yeah, we got this one together. They got it screen printed. The guy down here in the pig suit is actually, I think he's the boss of Swift JBS in the States. So he ended up getting 100 of these shirts printed to give out to his wholesalers and that sort of thing in America. So this shirt did the rounds. Yeah, when I messaged Wayne and said, how'd it go in the T-shirt comp, mate? He didn't answer me, but where do you reckon this one placed?
Oh, I'm going to guess first. Nothing could beat this, bro.
We came 26. Because what I learned...
Is that even possible?
Well, what I learned was the T-shirt category was only a small part of the overall, basically, activation. So the T-shirt was, I guess, a factor that you had to include in your overall team setup. So Memphis in May, you've got the guys that have the big double scaffolding, all that sort of thing. They have VIP areas, they throw parties. And to enter the category for best team setup, you had to have a T-shirt. These guys show up with a borrowed gazebo and things like that, borrowed smokers, and just thought it was a T-shirt comp, I think. So probably won the T-shirt side of things if I'm a little bit biased, but overall, bombed out. But they had the experience of a lifetime. They cooked well. They had a great time. And yeah, it's always fun doing stuff for the boys.
Yeah, and you've got the Memphis Bass Pro Pyramid that's on our bucket list.
Yeah, mate, got that. Got the Liberty Park there, which is where they had to move the event to. Got the Mississippi River on the side there, and all the boys up there ready to get lit.
Right, it's a great design. Okay, featured tattoos. This is where I find some tattoos sometimes, or we share them in the DMs, and this one blows me away.
This is actually not only a cool tattoo in the fact that it suits the show, it's really fucking well done.
So I've got zero context on this. I don't even know where it came from. I don't know who did it, and I don't know who's it on. But this is a massive back piece of a butcher, and he's surrounded by all the animals. Pig, a cow, sheep, and a chicken. And it is a massive piece of art.
It is a massive piece of art. It sort of falls in the category of traditional design, but almost more towards the European traditional style. And a lot of people might look at this and think, oh, you know, look at these dots here. It's just taking up space. But there's probably 6 hours worth of dots in there if you've ever done tattooing before and realised that you can't just go did. Every part of this tattoo is thought out and done well.
How long do you reckon this would take?
Geez, it all depends, you know. It depends on how quick the artist is. There's a lot of solid black in there, which takes time. I reckon you'd be looking between 25 and 40 hours. Obviously not one session.
Yeah. But it is finished.
It is finished.
Very, very, very cool tattoo. So if you know about this tattoo, let us know in the comments because we'd love to talk about some of your other artwork because we love this.
It's so sick.
Okay, Artist Spotlight. We have been waiting to do this segment for a very long time because this guy's kind of near and dear to our heart. He was one of the first people that sort of created the scene of what I would call meat art.
Yeah, and it's also very fitting that we feature him now because his art is soon going to be available here in Australia through our friends at Black Dog Inc. I've been talking to this guy personally. He's had a few things happen in his life at the moment and he's decided he wants to focus more on this side of things. So we're going to set him up an online store and get his stuff printed here in Australia so that if guys want it, they don't have to cop those hectic international shipping charges and that. And obviously all the profits made will go straight into Pesh's bank. I think we're all going to sort of hope he puts it into a separate account and comes over for a meat stock or at least a session on the show, mate.
Yeah, well, that's a good segue. So let's introduce him. He is Pesha, and I won't even try to pronounce his last name, but he's from Switzerland and he goes by the name of Carnivore Design.
He does, and he's a budding tattooist as well. But yeah, Carnivore Designs, obviously all his meat-infused madness and his illustrations, and he does a lot of posters, a lot of T-shirt printed merch, and I think he's a tattooer full-time, but he can't actually work as a tattooist at the moment because he's had a bit of a health scare, so he's got time to sit down and draw and really work on getting the Carnivore brand out there. And I mean, he's done some awesome stuff, like friend of the show, Mel Schmiller Jr., Dark Side of the Grill. His whole hand tattoo is one of Pesh's designs. So
okay, well, it was impossible for me to find a photo of this guy. I looked everywhere. In the end, I had to stalk him in his past stories, and I finally found a picture of him on holidays, but that's him.
Sick. What a legend.
Okay, let's go through some of his artwork here.
Lots of tattoo influence. This is like Japanese style with the marble through the steak and that sort of thing with the finger waves and the wind bars.
I feel like you two have a lot in common, especially with the artwork that you have done on yourself, but he's been a tattoo artist for 20 years and he's been mostly focused on Japanese design.
Yeah, he does well. His tattoo stuff's really nice. We've featured some of his stuff on the show, but I had a similar background when I was a tattooist. I still yearned for that illustrative validation and never put the iPad down. I was always drawing and that sort of thing. But yeah, this guy, he's scratching the itch, that's for sure. And his stuff's just sick.
Yeah, so the only way I can describe it is they are amazing illustrations with a barbecue / American traditional with some of them / meat theme.
Definitely. Oh, meathead.
I mean, this is a lot of Japanese style that he's putting to work. He's very fluid in the different styles that he can do.
That's it. But see, traditional and Japanese traditional tattoos, they borrow a lot of their style from illustration, and it was the same with when I used to tattoo. I used to rely on nice clean line work and heavy fill, and that is the style that it translates perfectly over to his illustration, so he's not having to change anything up at all, really. A lot of these designs could go straight from a poster on the wall to a tattoo with very little change.
Yeah, so for people that can't see his designs, you should jump onto Carnivore Design on Instagram. But what we're looking at here is 4 different Japanese illustrations on a chicken.
Yeah, it looks like he's tattooed the chicken. He loves the big green egg. He's very loyal to the big green egg brand. Okay. I think that's his cooker of choice.
And he's done a lot of merch too. So we're looking at a shirt design that he's done on the right, and here's a couple of other designs he's done as well.
Yeah, so we're going to get 3 of his more popular designs, and Chris at Black Dog Inc. is going to set up a pre-order store for them. So in a few weeks, we'll share out the link and that sort of thing. You'll be able to buy some of this stuff, and it all goes directly to Pesha.
So if you're not in Australia and you're anywhere else in the world and you're not in Switzerland, obviously, where he is, he does have an online store where you can go and buy some of his artworks.
Yeah, it pumps, but just to get some of the stuff over here, the shipping's pretty crazy, and sometimes you can't even offer the shipping. But yeah, that's why we want to print some of his stuff. There's actually a beef production plant just over the highway here in Wauchope, and Pesha actually did their T-shirt for them, the Melteek Beef Company.
Wow.
And Chris has actually already printed some of his work.
That's awesome. Well, look, if you've got a man cave or a butcher shop, or you're just looking for something cool, jump on his website because he's got some awesome designs, and support this guy.
Yeah, that's it. Support the makers. Don't buy shit off fucking Canva and don't AI it.
Yeah, well, it's carnivore with no E, design.com.
Yeah.
So you can commission him to do artwork. If you're a barbecue team, a butcher shop or whatever, if you're looking for something unique, hit him up.
And if you're in Switzerland, go get a tattoo.
On that AI designs thing, I see a lot of people starting to pop up with AI logos, you know, barbecue teams, butcher shops or whatever. But you can tell.
You can definitely tell, but there is a place for it. Like, not everyone can afford, or in my case, I don't have time to do everyone's stuff, so I'm hoping Pesha sort of shares the load a little bit here. Commission this guy to do some shirts for you. There is definitely a place for it. Some teams only last as long as the T-shirts and that sort of thing, but if you want quality, you got to look for it.
Yeah, okay. Well, we've been waiting to do that one for a while, and I'm glad we did.
And it won't be the last time we feature him.
No. Okay, this next one is just as impressive. You ready?
I'm ready.
So this is the best themed barbecue pit I have ever seen in my life.
Mate, it looks spectacular, and it's for our boy Mel from Dark Side of the Grill, who we just mentioned.
Okay, let's watch.
Well, guys, this one's all painted. He's got to get oiled. It's getting a black oil. This is 24 karat gold. Gold leaf lettering. Spiderweb pinstripes.
Nuts.
Look at that pinstriping.
So good.
It's got a coffin firebox.
It's got hearse lights.
Okay, I'm just going to turn this down and we're going to talk through it a little bit. So it's a 1,000-gallon smoker. It has got vampire spiked lantern holders. It's got a pinstriped Yeti mounted on the back. It's been pinstriped. It has a 24-karat gold leaf nameplate. This thing is wild.
It's insane.
Okay, we're going to watch another video, but just keep in mind this is not quite finished yet.
Well, she's officially mechanically complete. All we have left to do is oil it and to clear coat the signs. Got the lantern holders. These just clip off. They just clip on there. They can store in the toolbox. Vampire spikes riveted in there. Pretty cool. You could also probably hang your tools and fucking shop towels or a pair of panties off there.
Okay, let's skip through and...
Pair of panties. Mel will definitely forget to take them things off when he drives it out of the shop, though, and break them.
So let's go through the details. These are 1959 Chevy taillights.
They look like the taillights from Christine from the Stephen King novel. You know, the killer car?
Oh, okay. No, I don't, but they look scary.
Yeah.
Okay, it's got a coffin fire door and a coffin toolbox.
Sick.
And I don't know who built it, but it's not 100% finished yet. But we're going to find out for sure because the touches on this thing are phenomenal.
So good, eh?
You see a lot of people and they theme smokers and they might paint them or they might put a handle on it that's an axe or something like that. But this has taken it to the next level.
Oh, mate, this is 100% bespoke custom here.
Just unbelievable work and craftsmanship. I don't know exactly who built it. I'm going to ask Mel. I think he might have even told us, but I've forgotten. But it's not 100% finished yet. But we're going to go find out some more about this guy because obviously he builds some amazing pits.
That's it. I mean, his attention to detail just on this build is hectic.
It feels like American Chopper now started to build barbecue pits.
Canadian Chopper.
All right, move on. On the menu, I'm starving.
I'm starving, mate. And this is a dish that's near and dear to my heart. It's
Okay.
Our mate Adriano graced our taste buds with this one a few years ago when he introduced us all to the Choripan, which is basically just a reimagined sausage and bread. It's a nice bit of crust and some char marks there, mate. Bit of brownness on the edge of the garlic bread. And I don't care what you say. You can buy name brand garlic bread all you want, but nothing's better than the home brand stuff, mate.
The cheap stuff.
The cheap stuff is the goods.
All right, this looks absolutely smashing and I'm so hungry. So you've served this up on the Kurrawa Bush Furniture.
Best chopping board on the planet, in my opinion, mate. All branded up for us from the boys down there, Dave and Dave Jr.
It looks awesome and let's go. Let's build this thing, hey?
Right, you could almost call this a carnivore's bruschetta.
I feel like I'm drooling inside.
It's not just on the
I'm
inside,
like
mate. I can see it.
I'm staring at this. I wish I had sunglasses on so people couldn't see that I was staring at this thing so bad.
All right.
Here comes out the cutthroat knife. So you built this like a sandwich.
Yeah, mate. It literally is just a reimagined sausage and bread at the best of times. So
let's have a little bit of a look at the cross section here.
got your stunt cam, mate.
Righty, yeah. Show me what's going on here. Oh, you've done the squeeze test too.
The squeeze, mate.
Okay, let's have a crack, hey?
Cheers, brother. Oh, there's a lot to unpack, but it's good.
The sausage, the garlic bread.
Yeah, don't go kissing the
salsa.
missus afterwards, but it's good.
This is delicious, bro. Good ratio of bread to meat too.
It's a secret. It's quite often the way that makes or breaks a sanger or a burger. Once again, you've made a pig of yourself.
All right, let's skip on to the Encore. This is the end of the show. This is where I get to... Oh, by the way, before I jump to this, Fucking well done, bro.
Was that good?
Is smashing.
You know what, though? It's the first time I've done that.
Well, you've done it right.
I've done Choripan hundreds of times. I love it. Usually I mix up, instead of the basil, I'll throw chimichurri in with the tomato on that. I think that works. Good bit of garlic bread, Italian sausage, yeah. But also, too, you can use a plain sausage and then hit it with your favourite rub. Muck around. Tag us in your videos.
Put a bit of spice on it.
Bloody oath.
Bit of seasoning.
Yeah.
I like that idea too. Okay, it's the Encore. I know what this photo is because I took it, but you don't, so tell me what's going on here.
Fucking hell. Looks like a bunch of when your tattoo's been peeling and you take the bit off and someone's deep fried it. It looks good. Is that just pork scratching?
I think in Mexico they call it chicharron. I could be wrong. But
it does say chicharron up the top there, so I reckon you're right.
Okay.
Good pronunciation too, bro.
Thank you. I have separated it out here so I can try and pronounce it properly. But these things were like blankets.
Yeah, it looks like it.
So the idea was they're obviously for show in the fact that they're so big, but you could buy a portion or all of it. So people were coming up and sort of buying a small section. They sort of sold it by weight. But yeah, they were massive. I'd never seen anything like it. I walked straight in the market. I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
You'd look like a king walking home with a whole one of them.
You would, just under your arm like a bodyboard. Yeah. All right, on that note, that ends the show.
It does.
Next one's going to be 20.
Number 20, mate. XX.
I apologise about my messy eating again. I've got crap all over me.
That's what you get for wearing yellow, bro.
On this, these are left over from Meat Stock 2024. All the cool kids apparently did not like yellow, so they didn't sell so well. So we've got a box full of these things. So we're going to be dragging around these at the next 4 meat stocks, and hopefully we can get rid of them.
That's it. And they were a bit of a nod to the champion that was Kobe Bryant, that wore the number 24 in the LA Lakers. And yeah, let's go. Don't sue us.
See ya.
See you next Tuesday.